So that's something that if Cuyahoga County wants a specific type of image in it, we can look at incorporating that into a future version too. Just to lay that out there. Ultimately, we have our standard ballot. So I'll pull up a few circumstances. I'm going to overvote this right now. So it's going to say working and showing, and again, that's just small visual cues for the voter to show that there's still something going on. So it'll show the ballot being scanned. It's going to pop up, and I know that this is hard for everybody to see, so I'll talk you through it. But it pops up with customizable text, so you can include what your process would be if there's an overvote. Hey, you know, Mr. Voter, you want to spoil this ballot, take it back to the table, whatever your instructions would be. You can put that on there. It's also going to list out the contest in the area where there was a mistake. So this is saying that in our Senate contest, our demo Senate contest, there was a mistake, the overvote. The voter can obviously forgo the ability at second chance voting and submit the ballot, or they can return the ballot and go through the process.
Again, is that text customizable, like what the messages said there?
Yep, exactly. So you can, again, you can provide specific instructions on what you want the voter to do in that scenario. Take it back, spoil the ballot, get a new one, so on.
Does that include the buttons and the colors of the buttons?
No, that's also hard-coded.
Joe, what are they now, do you know?
I don't think we have red and green anymore.
No, they're just gray.
Is there a reason why they did that? I can't remember.
I think it used to be, and then they got rid of it because it's like green, you're telling the voter, you know, this
Go
is
ahead,
the
yeah,
better
that's
option.
right,
you know?
yeah.
Does the machine give any audio when there's some malfunction of any kind?
Yep, so if there's a jam, for example, it will actually start beeping and alert the poll worker that there's a jam. So you actually heard it. The way I can kind of trick the system to do that is lifting up the scanner again, if, in a second, if it wants to do it. That's the trick to the system. So if I did stick a ballot in there and it got jammed, it starts making a fast beeping noise. So I just showed you the scanning of the standard ballot. Again, candidate contest on front, questions and issues on the back. That was the one that we just overvoted. Here is that 17-year-old ballot that I printed out earlier, which candidate contest on front, no questions and issues on the back. And this is a properly marked ballot, so won't have any issue. And you can also hear that the audio confirmation. There's a positive little ding there once it's counted, but when it is counted, you see the ballot drop into a ballot box and it says thank you for voting. Again, just small visual cues to guide voters through the process, and we've done testing on that just to see what would actually, that ballot scanning and showing marks going up and down, something that holds a voter in place so they don't walk away, right? Just small things like that, but it makes all the difference in the world.
And the image of the ballot was generic, right? It was just a paper ballot. It wasn't like.
Right, it's not an image of the actual ballot, correct. Yep, it's just an image.
I'm assuming you can't put a ballot in the wrong way, any orientation, any
Yeah,
side.
any orientation, I'll actually, again, you can use anything from a 5.5-inch ballot to a 22-inch ballot in the same election. I'm just marking this so it doesn't pop up with a blank voting card.
Wow.
So everything usually is going in, you know, the 8.5 by 11 way. Due to digital scan imaging, again, the flexibility of our tabulator, you can even do things like put it in this long way.
Oh, wow.
So you're saying that you can run an election with different size?
Kind of bear the lead on that.
100%.
So like for an
Sorry.
issues only option on in a primary, maybe you can get away with
Yeah,
a short
right.
ballot.
Yeah.
So do we attach a ballot box to the back of this situation? Because,
They just fall out on the floor. So we
You're
have.
dying to like walk up there.
Yeah, we have multiple ballot box options, also something that makes us unique. And again, because the only thing we have to do to certify a box, something for it to go into, is pass the security testing of it. There's no firmware associated to our ballot box, nothing else, because everything, again, is being done digitally in the software of the scanner. There's no, if there's a write-in, it doesn't need to get diverted into a separate bin or anything like that. So we have a collapsible ballot bag option. Here's gonna grab it. And, we understand, really the way that we design this is to fit counties of different sizes. So, for example, a smaller county than a Cuyahoga may be interested in having a tabletop option, something that is more mobile, that puts less burden on them for transport requirements. So this bag hooks securely onto the back of it through guided slots. We also just released something that we worked with Warren County specifically on. This is just our prototype of this. This is a collapsible hardened box that's freestanding that the unit hooks securely onto, that the ballots drop straight down into. So if you guys, I believe you would probably be interested in a larger ballot box. I don't know if a collapsible box is something that interests you, but we can also look at having a sturdier box that is more towards your specific design of what you would like a ballot box to do. Potentially you can do things with your ballot box then, like store things and get them out to the polls, anything along those lines. So it is easy for us to make those changes because there's no firmware or anything like that related to it.
No mechanisms,
Yeah.
there's no levers or anything to
Yep.
get the ballot.
How many does a bag hold?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Oh, sorry.
Let's talk about don't get hung up on the bag.
like a county that would be comparable to Cuyahoga County, like a city like Seattle or Portland or something, what kind of ballot box are they using?
So they're vote by mail jurisdiction, so they're not using the ballot box. They run off of high-speed single scanners. They don't have precinct voting. The only voting that they do in person is through the ADA system, but they're not casting ballots directly into a tabulator. And again, this is our prototype, so this collapses all the way down into something that's about this thick. It's all one piece. It all comes together. We're actually, so in our discussions with Warren County, kind of working things collaboratively with them, we're going to be reducing the size of this a little bit, cutting down a couple inches. We're adding a handle and thicker wheels so it's sturdier when it is collapsed all the way down. So, and that's the type of things that we do with our clients. Specifically, we're taking their recommendations and incorporating into the box because that's something that they were interested in. Yep.
So, is that thing with the case with the wheel, is that what this you carry this in?
Those are shipping cases for our
That's a shipping
equipment, really.
case, yeah. The hardened black one is a shipping case. This is actually what that can be transported in. So they're the same case roughly for the ADA unit and for the precinct tabulator. The ADA unit has two compartments though, one for the printer and one for the touchscreen.
Do you know the capacity of the ballot bag that locks on the bag?
The bag capacity is 900 to 1,000 ballots, depending on the paper stock that you're using. Obviously, thicker stock would go towards the lesser amount. Yeah, the box, yeah, exactly. And you don't have to be married to one or the other with our system. You could do a mix of the bags, a box, whatever your configuration is desired. We can do that for you. We have a couple counties in the state right now that are looking at the vast majority, well, that are already signed on, that vast majority of what they want to use is tabletop, but then they want 5 of the ballot boxes for their early voting in large locations, and we're able to do that for them.
And I think, to sort of round it all up, this is something we sit down with you on day one and say, what do you want? Like, how do you want to build this out? This is not something that is challenging from a certification perspective. This is something that can be customized to the jurisdiction. And we would sit with you from day one and say, how do you want that to be? Right? And we'll develop it together, and it pairs in with our software and with our program.
Yeah, we will connect you directly to our product team. Trust me, they love getting the feedback and working with clients on what they want.
Yep.
So if the setup that you have here, is the ballot coming out the bottom, or is it still coming out the back and then in, or how does that?
Yep, so
how
there's
does
a
that work?
chute on the back that guides it and it shoots straight down.
Okay, I see.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and we can put, right now the box is empty, but you can have a secondary bin in there, say on wheels, that the ballots will drop down into with a handle that you can just pull out and wheel. So, yep. Yep.
On your introductory slide, you had different milestones.
Yep.
One of them was 2018, deployment in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Is that your first precinct, the optical scan, like out in the field?
Yes, that was our first precinct count. So the path that I see, so the path that we've been on, again, just to kind of bring it all together, we started off doing audits. We're the only company that is flexible enough to read other systems' ballots. That was our start. We then got into their feedback, drove us to become a full system provider. So we started in central count tabulation because, again, the biggest barrier to entry is certification, right? And getting a precinct tabulator through certification takes the longest out of anything. So we approached and targeted the central count states first, Oregon, Washington, and the next logical step for us was precinct, and Wisconsin was the first state that we got certified in. So we got full EAC certification at the beginning of last year, shortly before we got certified in Ohio as well. Ran a couple very successful elections there, and we are currently in the process of implementing 10 clients right now for use in May in Ohio. So, you know, again, I don't know what your process is gonna be,
In
but
Pennsylvania, we have 4 committed clients as well.
you will be able to look to those jurisdictions and see how we implement them and what their feedback is. And we're excited about that. So in you know, implementing 10 new clients at